Welcome to Better Futures.
You know what? Yeah, I guess the solution to my question would be to dive deeper into the interview you had with Edgar. Just lastly, in terms of like touching on the subject of your mortality, your injury was a brain injury. For me, if I were to have a brain injury, I wouldn't be, besides like worrying about my life, I guess it would activate an insecurity in me that I've always had about myself in terms of if my level of consciousness or my level of thought is adequate, which is to say, do you think your brain injury has hampered your mental faculties in any way? Or even, has there ever been a time of like a moment of insecurity where you thought, is this me or is this my brain injury?
That's a very interesting question, especially that last part. During the time that I was hospitalized, there was a GoFundMe campaign that raised, many thousands of dollars. Many of it from friends, many of it from people whom I did not know, but were related to family members through professional associations and what have you. I would like to blame my need to focus on physical recovery for the fact that I did not send out a thank you letter to the donors of this GoFundMe campaign. It could also have been attributed to a kind of like, oh my God, you guys saved my biological life in order to prolong my emotional torment. There could have even been resentment involved, is I suppose what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay. I'll say as a member of the community of people that donated, although I don't like using the word donate because that makes it seem like you were a charity. I don't know. It's strange to think about because from my end, like, well, there never was a requirement to contribute. It just felt like a natural thing. So I'll say no worries in terms of sending out a thank you. And I imagine that's true for everyone else.
I hope so, but nonetheless, my negligence in doing so was recently brought to my attention. So I started the slow process, I suppose, of sending out the thank yous. The
Well,
people that I can most easily contact, I suppose.
who is the arbiter of formality in your life who is mentioning, oh, do you remember like that horrific injury? It's uncouth that you didn't send out thank you notes this far. Who's bringing this up to you?
That was a member of my extended family, and I come from a Catholic family, so I suppose her first impulse was to bring up something that she thinks I should feel guilty about, perhaps.
All right. Yes. All right. It always comes back to God, doesn't it? It always comes back to a searing obligation that we get from our elders.
Even more today, it is not just from our elders, though. I'm just thinking of cancel culture, which I neither support nor abhor. I just see it as a kind of ongoing phenomenon. And I also think about the interview that I had with Edgar that you saw a portion of, and his comments on social media and so on. So if shame and guilt is to be the theological or moral menu to keep us all in line, we have some updated digital institutions for that.
Okay. I feel like we covered most of the main questions I wanted to know about you and your head injury. You touched a little bit on cancel culture and social media's influence on morality. Can you tell me how you feel about social media as an institution of ethics or morals?
I think that there may be some kind of democratic and highly idealistic argument to be made for social media as a centralizing, moralizing force or force for moral good. I do not think that we conduct this discourse very well at all. And I was reviewing my interview with Edgar just for more details on that. It seems to me that this outgrowth of our collective unconscious that has come into being simply through our practice of discourse has exceeded our capacity to control it, meaning that although we contribute to it, it in influences us more than we influence it, although it is itself open to the manipulations of capital and of marketing campaigns, etc. And social media itself can determine so much of our lives, whether it's through the advertisements we see day to day, or whether it's through the personalities we can no longer expect to see in popular culture because they did something that the majority finds worthy of cancellation.